Now, I'm going to explain today some more important properties of matter and some important points which we see in our daily life. For example, children, the water kept in earthen pots, which we call matka, is cooled. You know this thing? But what is the reason behind it? Actually, children, it is based on evaporation. It is based on evaporation. So this I am going to explain why an earthen pot is able to cool down the water kept in it. Actually, there are large number of holes, rather numerous holes, millions of holes inside the earthen pots, matka, surai, etc. Millions of microscopic pores. So there are millions of microscopic. Microscopic means very small pores. Children, these pores, these holes, we cannot see them. So there are microscopic pores, and so what happens when the pores are there, small holes are there? So water will come out. So you all have seen, you all must have noticed it. Actually, little amount of water comes out through these pores. So little amount of water comes out on the surface. So it comes out on the surface. So what happens, any liquid will undergo evaporation at a particular temperature. Water undergoes evaporation at particular temperature. And so what happens? When there is evaporation, there is cooling. So water comes out on surface. As a result, there is the evaporation. There is the evaporation of water from there. And when there is evaporation, there is cooling. And so water kept in an earthen pot is cooled. Now I am going to explain next important aspect based on evaporation is the use of different cloths in different conditions. Like children, we use cotton cloths particularly in summer. We prefer to wear cotton cloths with light color, and we prefer it. Why? Because cotton is good absorber of sweat or perspiration. Cotton absorbs the sweat, the perspiration produced during summer, and as a result, as cotton is good absorber of perspiration or water or any liquid, so what happens? Initially, we are having this any cloth of cotton. So as the sweat or perspiration is absorbed, and as a result, what happens? As I have written here, again there will be evaporation. And when there is evaporation, what happens? There is the cooling and we are comfortable. So question is, we prefer cotton clothes in summers. I will take up next about the color, light color or dark color. So I will take next. So simply cotton is a good absorber of all the liquids. All the liquids, it means it is understood that perspiration also, sweat also. Thus, the perspiration or sweat is absorbed by it. And what happens then? There will be evaporation. Then there will be evaporation of water present in the sweat. Actually, children, sweat is comprised of many components, but water is in a very large amount. It contains salts also. It contains some metabolic wastes also. So there will be evaporation of water. You might have noticed that the smell, the salty appearance, some saltiness test remains in the dirty clothes because of perspiration. And so there will be evaporation, and so we are comfortable, and thus we prefer cotton clothes. Now, on opposite to this, we when use synthetic clothes in summer, then we are not comfortable. Other point can be synthetic clothes. I will take. Now, this we do not prefer synthetic clothes in summer. So there will be just opposite reason. Actually, synthetic clothes like terylene and polyester, they are not good absorbers. They absorb very little amount of water. You know all this. The clothes, the ready-made garments, which are of synthetic nature, they dry up quickly due to this reason only. So we do not prefer synthetic clothes in summer. Why? The reason is very simple. As synthetic fibers, you may write here like nylon or polyester, etc. are poor absorbers of liquids. And so when they are poor absorbers of liquid, what happens? On our body, sweat remains. Thus, very little evaporation, very little amount of evaporation takes place. And so what happens? Very little amount of this evaporation takes place, so we are not at ease, we are not comfortable. Thus, we are not comfortable. And so this is about the reason that we are not comfortable with the synthetic clothes in summer. Now, another question related to this I am going to take. We prefer light colored clothes in summers. Why? We prefer light colored clothes in summers. Why? So, what is the reason? You all must have an idea that dark color is good absorber of light and sunlight. And when we go out, very large amount of sunlight and the heat is trapped, and so we are not comfortable. So answer is very simple. As dark color is good absorber of light. So large amount of heat, large amount of light is trapped by the dark cloth. And so what happens? We are not compatible, we are not rich. And the opposite children, there can be opposite. We prefer, you see, questions are countless. Opposite of all these four, we prefer synthetic clothes in winters. Why? Because, in winters, we have to maintain our body temperature. Now, synthetic clothes, they prevent the loss of heat as they act as a blanket. Now, I'm going to explain next very important point. It is sublimation. You know this. So, it is nothing but the property of some solids. Keep in mind, it is property of some solids due to which they are converted into vapor. So, it is defined as the property of some solids due to which they are changed or converted into gas. It can be at room temperature or it can be at high temperature. Sublimation, so when a solid is directly converted to gas, this is sublimation. And some substances which exhibits sublimation are, camphor, naphthalene, solid iodine, solid carbon dioxide. So these are some of the important solids, important compounds which exhibit sublimation. Actually, children, why they exhibit sublimation? Actually, the force of attraction in the molecules is very less, and so you all know this. Camphor, which we call kapoor in Aarti Puja, what happens? When we keep camphor or kapoor unattended, means not properly closed in a vessel, what happens? It is lost in atmosphere. You all know this. Similarly, naphthalene balls we keep in cupboards, we keep in toilets, etc. So it also goes away on its own. So these are the points. Similarly, same is case with solid iodine, then solid CO2 or dry ice, this. So it is the sublimation. It can be one more, ammonium chloride. Ammonium chloride. So these are 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. These substances. And the substances which undergo sublimation, they are called as sublimate. They are called as sublimate. The substances which undergo sublimation are called as sublimate. Substances which show sublimation are called as sublimation, and they are called as sublimate. The process of sublimation can be used to separate the mixture of solids. Some is undergoing sublimation and some do not. Like we take a mixture of ammonium chloride and salt or sand. And so children, for this we take this type of experimental arrangement. Here this is the China dish. This is China dish. This is wire gauze. This is stand. Here we keep the burner for heating, and in this there is the mixer. There is the mixture of ammonium chloride, which we call NH4Cl, and sand. And above this we keep funnel. This is the funnel, glass funnel, inverted glass funnel, and we cover it by a test tube. This is what? This is test tube. And so we keep heating slowly. After some time, what happens? As ammonium chloride undergoes sublimation and sand or salt will not. So after some time, here inside the test tube, the white fumes initially they are collected, and then white fumes is then converted to white solid, and then here salt is left as residue. So this is residue. Residue means anything which is discarded. Like we prepare tea, so the tea leaves, they are residue.